there are more than 10,000 GI potential in India. भारत को विकसित भारत बनना है तो विकसित भारत हर क्षेत्र में बनना होगा. There are huge number of such application which is being abandoned because of the ignorance. IP by design is going to be the new leapfrog jump in terms of IP world and innovation ecosystem. IP is not just for the scientific problem. One small innovation, but how much it is influencing the society and the country.
The IP Press Podcast. From the pens of IP holics.
Namaste and welcome to the IP Press Podcast, a platform where we bridge the gap between complex legal frameworks and the ever-evolving world of intellectual property. India is currently at a turning point in history. We are no longer just a nation of consumers. We are becoming a nation of creators and innovators. But to protect that innovation, we need a robust legal framework. That is where we come in. At the IP Press, we like to call our team a team of IP holics. And our mission is simple: the proliferation of intellectual property and awareness through blogging, education, and now these deep dive conversations. Today, we are diving into the heart of India's innovation journey. As our nation marches towards Viksit Bharat 2047, the role of intellectual property has shifted from being a mere legal document to becoming a vital bridge for economic power. To guide us through this, we are joined by a visionary, Professor Dr. Unnat P. Pandit. He currently serves as the Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademarks. And he is also the Registrar of Copyrights and GIs. From his pioneering work at Niti Aayog's Atal Innovation Mission to his role in drafting the national IPR policy, Dr. Pandit is at the forefront of India's IP revolution. In this session, hosted by our managing editor Hetvi Trivedi, we discuss the surge in domestic patent filings, the balance between the quality and quantity, and how AI tools like IP Sarthi are modernizing the Indian IP office. Pro tips for the viewers: we have segmented this video into multiple chapters. So if you're looking for something specific or specific insights, do check out the timeline that would be given. And if you find the pace a bit too slow, then we highly recommend listening to this podcast in 1.5x speed to soak in all the insights efficiently. So let's get started.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the IP Press podcast, where we interact with notable personalities over the evolution of intellectual property law. At the IP Press, we are a team of IP holics driven by the belief that digitalization and the written word are the two ultra-modern weapons to navigate today's legal landscape. Through our initiatives, such as deep dive blogs and video lectures, we aim to demystify emerging IP issues for various stakeholders, students, and startups alike. Our mission is to foster the exciting and ever-expanding field of intellectual property rights by addressing technical challenges with clarity and expertise. My name is Hetvi Trivedi. I am an independent IP consultant and also the managing editor at the IP Press. I'm extremely delighted today to host the podcast with our guest, none other than Professor Dr. Unnat P. Pandit. Dr. Pandit is the Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademarks, as well as the Registrar of Copyrights and GIs for the Government of India. He is also a Professor of Intellectual Property, Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the Jawaharlal Nehru University. Holding a PhD in medicinal chemistry and an LLB, Dr. Pandit has a career spanning over 2 decades across industry, academia, and governance, where he has effortlessly blended the thoroughness of a scientist with the discipline of an academic and the foresightedness of a policymaker. Before heading the IP office, he served as the Dean of Atal Bihari Vajpayee School of Management and Entrepreneurship at JNU. He was also the director at Niti Aayog's Atal Innovation Mission being a key architect in nurturing India's startup culture. Dr. Pandit was also a member of the think tank constituted to draft the National IPR policy of India. Dr. Pandit, we are extremely fortunate and delighted to welcome you to the IP Press podcast. I hope to indulge you in a fruitful conversation over the next hour.
Thank you. It has been a nice talking with you after a long time, and I believe that we will have a very fruitful and interactive discussion in this podcast.
Yes, sir, definitely. So, with your permission, sir, should I begin with the questions?
Sure, sure.
Sure. So, to start off the discussion, as India charts its path toward becoming a developed nation by 2047, you've often highlighted that IP is more than just a legal certificate. So, in this context of Viksit Bharat 2047, how do you think that a robust IP ecosystem can act as the bridge transforming our innovative and knowledge driven spirit into economic power?
See, as you have said that we want to become a knowledge driven economic power, that is a knowledge economy we have to establish ourselves. And this can only be possible if we try to utilize the knowledge for the economic value creation. And when knowledge is being utilized for the economic value creation and generate the business, then it is bound to create the intellectual property. And the protection of intellectual property for the sustenance of the business and value creation is important. And that's why I often say that when our honorable finance minister, who has quoted in the budget speech that India aims to become a technology and knowledge embedded economy, while we are marching on the for achieving the Viksit Bharat, then IP is the key to open the doors for the creation of a knowledge and technology embedded economy. And that's why use of strategic tool of intellectual property is more important in creation of a value out of the different kind of a commercial products, value added services which is to be offered for gaining the benefit out of this IP creation. So hope I have
True, sir.
responded to
Yes,
your
sir.
question.
Very truly put, sir. Because from what we look at, how we look at intellectual property, it has both the ends to achieve. One is the economic justice, and the other is social justice, and for which definitely IP is much more than just a legal certificate. And if we derive certain strategies around using intellectual property, it can definitely help us much more into really turning Bharat into Viksit Bharat 2047. Now, we were just looking at the annual report 2024-2025, and for the first time over there, we see that domestic patent filings have surpassed 60% of the total, which is a clear shift towards self-reliance in innovation. I'm pretty sure this is happening with the help of certain specific initiatives that the government and the IP office must have taken in the recent years. So, in your perspective, what specific initiatives do you believe have been most effective in giving Indian innovators this inherent confidence to file and protect their ideas back at home?
So, first of all, see, journey starts with the awareness on intellectual property. So, since December 2021, we have taken up a mission of a national IP awareness mission. So, offering the IP related basic understanding to the students, youth, teachers of our country, and offering them the this kind of understanding. We have conducted more than 9,500 programs in physical, digital, virtual mode in different institutions. And by doing this kind of a program, we could able to reach out to more than 2.5 million students, youth, and the teachers, offered them the understanding of what is intellectual property, why it is important to protect the intellectual property, how the different tools of IP is going to benefit them. And most importantly, it is high time to respect the intellectual property. Building respect for the IP is the need when we are going to march on the pathway towards the building the Viksit Bharat. We must respect the IP which is created by self and by others also. So these are the motives which we have initially utilized for spreading the awareness. And I'm happy to share with you that in last 4 years, we have got 236% jump in the patent filing by the academic institutions. And there is a consistent growth in the IP filing, which is ranging from 17 to 19% every year since last 2 to 3 years. And more important to mention here that in 2024 calendar year and by 2025 calendar year, we have more than 100,000 new patent application filed by the various researcher before the Indian Patent Office. And this
Yes, sir.
is the most important to mention here, that awareness is the primary driver for securing the IP rights in India.
Absolutely agree with you on this, sir. In fact, the report also mentions that through the National IP Awareness Mission, around 121% increase in patent filings by educational institutions has been achieved. So,
That is
taking
for
you,
the that year. I'm talking about 4 year,
yes,
236%. So
yes,
from when we have started a mission till date, this is the okay. So that's
absolutely,
why
sir. My question to you regarding the role of NEPAM here in terms of patent filings would be that how does this reflect on India's standing on the Global Innovation Index?
see, Global Innovation Index is also having one of the primary focus on spreading the IP awareness, building the respect for the intellectual property, and also securing the different forms of IP. That's why we have seen the highest number of a growth in the design filing also. Since last 2 years, we have the rapid growth which is happening. And the in terms of a volume, we have a consistently the upward trend in the trademark filing also, and copyright filing as well. The highest number of a disposal which has been reported in 2024 23-24 financial year, wherein we have disposed of 126,000 new patent application. And similarly, the trademark filing, trademark disposal, design disposal, copyright disposal, GI disposal were also all-time high. So this is something which has shown that whatever backlog which was there, we have tried to clear those backlog. But then to my surprise also, that the way we have projected the growth, which we have initially thought of, we will have a 12.5% growth in the IP filing, and the consistent request for examination we will be receiving, whereas we have got a very abnormal growth in the IP filing by the researcher, wherein 60% of the researcher are from India. So at one point in time, we used to have the application filed by the foreign entity. But now, since last 3 years, the trend has almost reversed. We have more than 60% IP filing by the Indian researcher.
Correct.
So that's the big change which we have seen in the IP filing.
And I'm sure this instills a lot of confidence as well in young innovators and entrepreneurs, as well as the startup entrepreneurs as well, to invest more in their intellectual property and try and protect their intellectual property as much as possible. Especially now in India, that the trend has really begun and shot up this well. My next question was that in this age of social media, we do see institutes as well as law firms celebrating the increase in patent filings and grants. Now, this definitely is a cause for celebration, but sometimes it also draws certain criticism on the quality of patents that are granted and whether or not the patent really sees any kind of commercialization. So, how does the patent office
Quality.
balance this increase of patent filings, patent grants, and the quality of granted patents? How do you see this debate?
See, quality is a relative term. You may agree with me that something where it is compared with one apple is compared with apple, then there is somewhere we can differentiate the quality. Here we are dealing with every new application, each technology, each patent which we are disposing must have the novelty, inventive step, industrial applicability, which should be unique in each and every application. So saying that in general, making a comment that this is something where the quality of patent is getting compromised. I think we should have absolute relative term to compare the quality, but certainly on the process aspect, one is the patent per se. So in patent per se, each and every patent stands on its own merit while we are disposing this patent application by the Indian Patent Office. Now, second aspect is the process which is adopted and the quality of the process. So we have established our quality management cell, and this QMS system is helping us. This cell is monitoring the entire quality management system in the IP office. So there are SOP driven approach for certain specific type of activities which is to be carried out. There are certain specific timelines related SOP, when the hearing should be fixed, what kind of objection which is there, and what kind of application which is received. So based on that, the required time which is to be given to the applicant and the attorney, this has been streamlined to an extent so that everybody is not getting jumped down to the hearing to be fixed within 10 days. No. So where the hearing is to be, so to such a minute level, the planning and organizing the entire quality aspect has been done in the IP office. And this is in practice when I am conveying you. The second aspect is where the patent application which we have received and examination which we have communicated, we should make sure that the report or reply to this examination should be received by the office in time bound manner. So if reply is to be received, say as in next 15 days or 1 month or 2 months, then system should also trigger an alert, a soft message to the applicant and their authorized legal representative. And many a time we have seen that out of sight, so many applications which has the negative result while they have aimed to secure the IP right. So at least we can avoid this. When technology is there, we should be dealing with this kind of a soft reminder so that everyone is alert. And secondly, it will also be useful for applicant to decide timely and efficiently to what extent they want to move ahead with this application which they have filed before the Indian Patent Office.
Right, sir. This is
And
really good
with
to
that,
know.
will definitely help them in timely taking the call, and we can minimize.
Mm.
So this happens mainly with the startups. When I have seen the data for a startup, SME, MSME in 2022, there were huge number of such application which is getting abandoned because of the ignorance,
Mm.
and that was resulting negatively while they are aiming to secure their IP right. Instead of securing IP right, their applications were getting abandoned. And it is, you know, that it is difficult to deal with the abandoned application. We can't
Absolutely.
retrieve this. So
Right.
this is something which is a pioneering change. And this change has make sure that now hardly one or two single application which we are getting it abandoned. Wherein applicant is also fully aware, attorney or agent is also fully aware that we are no more going to sell it with this application. So that's why they prefer to abandon this. So this is
Right.
something, instead of a 80, 100 application which were getting abandoned, now we have nailed down to a very minimal number. And that kind of a
Mm.
procedural changes, which is a quality driven approach, has benefited to the stakeholder.
Right, sir. Thank you so much for highlighting this particular issue and talking about it in this detail. Um, Now, coming to the statement of working, which is quite a unique requirement under the Indian patent law. Can you shed some light for our listeners on how the patent officer's office monitors this requirement?
Let me be honest why responding to you, because up to 2024 March, the statement of commercial use which is required to be submitted as part of a form 27. So every year each applicant for their cluster of patent were required to make a written submission in the form of a form 27. At one point in time it used to be for every patent, but then you know that with the small device, like even in a bell, if there are two different kind of a technologies there, it is bound to have a two three different types of patent also. And differentiating the commercial utilization of this particular device and its patent contribution, is measurement of this is entirely different,
Mm.
and it is difficult to differentiate the commercial utilization of this patent in this device. So what we have done, that let's bring the cluster of patent together. So each product which has says a 5, 10, 15 patents which is bounded in this. So reporting that utilization was much easy than the complex submission for a statement for each and every patent.
Mm.
And it was
And
difficult also to enforce this.
mm,
In 2024, we move one step ahead. Every year, it is difficult to differentiate and report this. To further simplify this, we have made this compliance to be done every 3 years. Because in
mm,
3 years, we have a sizable number of a development wherein we can analyze the data, we can analyze the record, and we would be in a position to report whether the actual commercial utilization has happened or not.
mm,
Earlier, it was required to use the value and volume created from the patent, which is again a confidential data. And we have to make sure that whatever details which is being submitted, that is a legal endorsement to this. So this is something which has further been streamlined, that max 5 to 6 times max a patentee will require to make the submission regarding statement of use. So in entire life, maximum 5 to 6 submission which is to be done. Whereas earlier it was required to be done every year, and if patent is granted, says after 2 to 3 years, then active 17, 18 years of a statement submission was required to be done. See the scale of transformation which has brought the entire bottleneck which was there into the system.
Mm, mm.
So that's
It
why this is
definitely.
important to make sure that we are addressing these kind of issues like statement of undertaking for the commercial use.
Mm,
And with respect to the region and language, it also differentiates. So those who have not done any commercialization, we have also given them an option that they are open to out license this, so that the such patent will also be available, accessible through online for review and exploring their commercial utilization.
mm.
And
And
that has benefited. Yeah.
this initiative can definitely bring, I think, a lot of rural entrepreneurs out in the open and in terms of commercializing upon their patents. Moving on from the patent law, initiatives like the AI-powered trademark search as well as the IP Sarthi chatbot, these have significantly modernized office functioning. What are some of the benefits of these tools, and how do these technological advancements reduce the entry barrier for MSMEs as well as rural innovators?
See, definitely the AI and its positive utilization is the need of an hour. And how this is benefiting, maybe the applicant or a stakeholder can decide whether the brand name is approvable or not. So through AI, scanning the entire data set for different types of classes. See, SME, MSME, startup, individual inventors, they can decide if they want to say as a Unnat is their name, brand name. So Unnat can be seen in a different forms, in different class. If they don't have any kind of such details. Hello, can you hear me? Hello,
Yes, sir, you're audible.
hello. Yeah, yeah. So I could not able to see Hetvi. That's why. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think
It
we're back.
got frozen. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
that's okay. So they could able to then see where their brand stands, who all have the similar kind of a brand or same brand. So the accuracy of a filing is bound to go high, and it is
Mm,
going to immensely benefit that whatever the amount of revenue which is being spent by SME, MSME, startup, or even the individual inventor, they will definitely have a clarity where their brand stands for and how much time it is going to take. And larger the difference, it is going to be have a benefit or assurance to get this patent or sorry, get this trademark granted. So this
mm.
AI is positively influencing the decision making process of a stakeholder, and that is going to benefit them. Yeah.
In fact, just in the past few weeks, I was chatting with one of the entrepreneurs here from Gujarat, and she was quite happy about how she has been thinking about certain names for her startup, and whereby the AI chatbot helped her quite a bit in understanding what sort of name would really be required, or how what sort of name she could fix for her startup. So with that, I was pretty happy that such kind of tools are being used, and it definitely helps entrepreneurs all across, India. Um,
Specifically, the AI chatbot. AI chatbot
right.
is offering them the basic understanding about the how to move ahead in the IP protection. There is
Mm,
another tool which with WIPO we have developed the India adaptation of the IP diagnostics. So, with the basic questioning, the IP diagnostic is going to offer them the understanding that how many different types of IP which is required to be utilized for protection
mm,
of the IP right in a product. And this is also one of the new element. And beside the English as the language which was developed by the WIPO on IP diagnostic, we have in our India adaptation have started offering the solution in Hindi, in Urdu, in Bengali,
mm.
in most probably Tamil, which is there.
Okay.
So these are the local adaptation which we have done it in four different Indian language, and almost around nine languages are ready to offer this kind of a solution. So we have made it accessible in all Indian language. Whether the person from Gujarat also wants to protect, then the entire IP diagnostic tool is available in Gujarati,
Mm.
even in
That is
the Malayalam, in
right.
Maharashtra, Marathi. So this kind of a adaptation has again offered the awareness on IP and make sure that protection is accessible irrespective of the location or language. Yeah.
Mm. Correct, sir. So, which is where my earlier point really, I think, reflects quite a lot on how the IP office is streamlining its work. That IP is actually required for both economic and social justice, and such initiatives, I think, do a lot in terms of getting people and innovators as much access to the IP ecosystem as possible. Because language barrier is definitely a big thing in India. At this
See,
point, it would
idea
also
is to
be,
offer
yes,
the
sir.
understanding, offer the opportunity, irrespective of the
Correct.
language. And that has been ensured through the solutions like IP diagnostic, solutions like IP chatbot, trademark AI intervention, and various other means also. We are equally working on
Right.
the geographical indication. So we have already developed the manual in English, and if things works well, we may offer this manual in the available Indian language also, so that the basic understanding is available, accessible to the stakeholder. Yeah, over to you.
Correct. So at this point, it would also be very interesting to know how these AI tools we were talking about in the trademark perspective, how are they changing the day-to-day workflow for the IP examiners? Because in the IP ecosystem, examiners do play a vital role. So how are these tools really?
I personally believe that AI is a good supportive tool. AI cannot decide whether the application is to
Hmm,
be accepted or rejected. So, to the extent of assistance, I think it is a welcoming move to explore the utilization, but not to have a decisive decision making
hmm,
with the help of AI. So I am quite, and it is also evolving technology in IP offices. So let me see the other IP office also what kind of a stand which they have taken up, and what
hmm,
exactly is the need for them to utilize this kind of a solution. So that AI for examination, I think it is preliminary stage to enable explore, but it's a supportive tool for the examination in trademark and other applications. We have explored utilizing them for the examination process, and we are further evaluating. This is very new in any IP office. So we have to evaluate the initial result and we have to accordingly zero down. Yeah, thank you.
While we were, discussing the question, which relates to how IP examiners could use AI tools for examination, we did come across, a news piece which talked about how the European Patent Office did use these such AI tools for examinations, but the result wasn't too satisfactory. So maybe, as you're saying, human accuracy cannot really be defeated by AI tools and mechanisms.
Even in patent classification also, initially the WIPO developed tool which we have also tried to utilize it, but it was producing 78% accuracy. That means 22% is an error, and this is
Right.
going to create a difficulty. If we identified the actual error in initial phase, then certainly we can minimize the overall administrative lapses which may occur because of the wrong classification. So these kind of solutions need the Indian or indigenized approach, and it should have a hybrid wherein the human intellect is also required to be utilized for the timely classification and examination and disposal of the application by the IP office. Yeah.
Absolutely, sir. So that takes me to one of the most interesting bits of news from the IP Office India, which is about the first smell mark that we registered.
Mhm.
Do you have any? Do you have any thoughts on it?
It is again a very exhaustive hearing which was happened during this phase, and I could able to make sure that there is a scientific backup. And
Mm,
smell mark is a non-conventional application which we have not received so far. It was the first application which we have received for the rose type smell in tires. So when there is a smell, there is a scientific evidence also should be there. So, and I have gone through certain literature or publications of Triple IT Hyderabad. So, in the interaction, the amicus curiae has also made that there should be some kind of evidence to support this. So then it was decided that this is something which is the strong support, and in seven different taste elements, the smell is required to be analyzed, and the this is something which is a unique. Now it has the scientific backup. I'm happy to share that this is a report which is showing the different type of fruity, floral, minty, sweet, pungent, nutty, and woody smell. So where do the rose smell stand scientifically? And it has been analyzed by the most sophisticated instruments. So it is not just the graphical representation. It is in true sense the scientific evidence which is supported in the form of a graphic. And the methodology and how this the Triple IT Allahabad has handled the case is also available in public domain. So that's why this is a perfect case of a fusion between the science and law to decide the first time in the India where we have granted this smell mark, and that everything is written in my order which I have passed on this. It has taken
correct,
some
sir.
time, but something which is a breakthrough. And this smell mark is first of its kind, which is going to change the dimension of innovation embedded branding. Again,
Mm,
innovation embedded branding. The kind of a niche product where the smell is the unique and it is a non-conventional product.
Mm.
Conventional product, you always have the smell like a spray or
Right.
perfumes. It will always have the traditional fragrance, but non-conventional product showing this kind of approach is the unique way of b- innovative branding with the fusion of science and law. And that's the big difference. If India has to march on the pathway of a Viksit Bharat, we will be required to open up a new dimension. Now the corporates and the branding houses will think on those direction, how to create such kind of a innovative branding opportunities for their product, and that is going to bring the difference. भारत को विकसित भारत बनना है तो विकसित भारत हर क्षेत्र में बनना होगा, और इस तरह से इनोवेटिव ब्रांडिंग इज अ न्यू वे टू सी द ट्रेडिशनल प्रोडक्ट or traditional solution and traditional IP which is getting protected. That's why this is a new, first of its kind of a protection which is offered. Still, this is advertised, so we have to wait for 4 months. And once this is the statutory time is over, then the registration certificate may be issued to the applicant through their agent.
Correct. So it definitely is path breaking, and I'm pretty sure that how we've been reading about non-conventional trademarks getting accepted and registered all across the world, we will also be ready to read about this news of a non-conventional trademark smell mark being registered in India and how path breaking it is. India now is definitely a nation that is rich in cultural heritage and traditional knowledge as well. And we do have intellectual property rights like geographical indications to support and nurture this cultural heritage. What foundational role do these assets like GIs play in the national economic development? And how does IP India office strategically aim to leverage these assets in order to achieve the Viksit Bharat 2047 goal?
See, for achieving the Viksit Bharat 2047 goal, definitely we will be in need of a product which is designed by IP. This is a fairly a much advanced concept, but we need to think like a designing a solution which has the patented opportunity. Design a solution in design sector also. Design a solution even in a creative sector also. So where there is a minimal chances of any kind of a infringement or piracy related issue, and how technology can make it further robust enough to get the protection. That is something which is most important. IP by design is the new phenomenal which is required to be adopted into the system. And that kind of adaptation will bring the IP commercial use one step ahead of the need. And that is something which is to be explored.
So, in the annual report that we are talking about, we also witnessed that there is a limited growth in applications filed for GIs. The number stands at 275 right now. Why do you think that these collective rights remain, I would say, underrepresented when they are compared to patents or trademarks or designs? And what are the specific challenges in organizing rural communities to register these rights?
See, rural communities may not have the advanced understanding on the legal provisions for the geographical indication rights. Of course, the act is there since 1999, and it was made accessible immediately after it got enacted. So, but the first GI registration which was done after 5-6 years. And for 10 years, it is the minimal use of this act for the protection. But since last 3 years, we have changed the strategy, and this strategic change in processing and approach to deal with the GI application has positively influenced in securing the IP right, community IP right. Earlier, there used to be a red pen approach where the deficiency in the application was highlighted to comply with the requirement as per the GI Act.
Mm.
Now we have made sure that we need to facilitate what is the queries which is raised in the examination report. And we are trying to offer them the much better and advanced understanding, so that they understand, the local community and their facilitator should have the understanding that why these objections have raised, what is to be done to overcome this objection, and how this is going to offer the securization of their community IP right. And that's why this kind of a CGMs or pre-CGMs meeting, which is happening in a hybrid mode also, which is going to offer them the absolute clarity. In spite of a minimal number of a staff, we could able to achieve more than 100, 150, 160 GI registrations done in a calendar year.
Mm.
And now, India being a rich from the cultural and the other means, agriculture also, how this can further be benefiting to the community. To my understanding, there are more than 10,000 GI potential in India, and we have grossly undermined this. And this is the community right where community is going to see the direct benefit through the protection. And that's why the kind of a guideline which is to be required to be made in a different Indian languages is the progressive step to put one step ahead of the need. At one point in time, the GI authorized user were less than 8-9,000, but now we have 37,000 authorized users, and their process, which was much simple, but how to examine this, how to dispose this, how they are going to get advertised, and what is the time frame after advertisement statutory lock-in period to offer them this new approach to deal with the complexity. And that's the big change which I want to foresee, that this is the change which is required to brought in into the IP ecosystem.
Acha. Surely GIs are, in a way, much challenging as well for the IP office because of the length and breadth of the country that we are talking about and the amount of rural communities that we are looking at. So, do you think over there, especially in GIs, in this area, people from outside of the IP office can also be of help in creating a certain kind of awareness and in bringing this GI mission to some fulfillment?
There is a agencies, there is a program which is run, say as a NABARD, is running a program where they are trying to encourage the local community for protecting their community IP right. And they have engaged few facilitators also. And these facilitators are helping them what will be the overall benefit which they can leverage out of this GI protection. Muraina Gajak, the Muraina Gajak, which has got the GI registration, and before GI, there were around 40 families who were preparing the Gajak in the traditional manner. But out of way, sometime they could not able to get the business. So out of the 40-45 families, around 10-15 families have continued and remaining have left this business.
Mm.
because there was no enough livelihood which they could able to generate out of this. But as soon as the GI protection they have got, the demand for the original gajak from Muraina got raised. And this demand, even the families who have lost their business potential by migrating from the original family business to this, now reverse migration has happened, and this reverse migration has offered them the efficient level of a business opportunity. And that's the big difference which has been brought through the GI in the community.
So here, I do keep reading sometimes and listening as well, in the context of geographical indications, that sometimes we do overburden the communities by asking them to become the marketers, the promoters, and do
Everybody,
branding of their products. So
see,
here,
it's somewhere we need to understand. Community has to focus on manufacturing, and
mm,
authorized usership can also be given to the authorized traders, authorized packaging agency, and the marketing agency, or end point selling agency also. They may be out of the GI region, but where the product is manufactured is important. And that manufactured product is going to have the utilization of their IP right. And that is to be strategically being planned to utilize the IP right for their own sustainable livelihood.
mm, right, sir. Now, I would like to take you away from India and talking more internationally, just about how India has played a pivotal role in the historic conclusion of the IP Genetic Resources and Associated TK Treaty, as well as the Design Law Treaty. Um, Over here, because of the role that we've played, we have emerged as a key diplomatic leader for the global South in the IP arena. So, from your perspective, how does this increase in diplomatic influence specifically reinforce our economic sovereignty and also act as a strategic bridge towards the goal of Viksit Bharat?
Certainly, the genetic resources was only the point of discussion at this point in time, and it has been well recognized the India perspective in the WIPO's forum and by the different WIPO member states also. So this is something where the India has adopted a position where the genetic resources can further be referenced in the document. And once it is referenced, then the utilization of this genetic resource for the development of IP is going to offer a benefit. Yet the TK and TC, traditional knowledge and traditional cultural expression, which is going to see the further amplified discussion here. But to my knowledge, there is no further document which has come out of a YP in the form of a draft bill. Still, the drafting stage is going on. India being a century old or few thousand centuries old traditions who have the rich cultural heritage in the country can really play a leadership role among the WIPO negotiating treaty for this particular phase. And it will really be benefit if we are further gearing up ourselves to utilize the opportunity which we have in TKTCE bill. Yeah.
Mm, right, sir. Um, so this again brings me back to the National IP Awareness Mission. And we see that it has successfully reached students and faculty across all the states and union territories, including tier 2, tier 3, and even tribal regions. So this journey surely would have its own challenges as well as some very sweet surprises in terms of innovations coming out of these areas. So, could you share some of your experiences in terms of taking the NEPAM to all of the states across India and union territories as well?
Yeah, NIPAM is going to build a core strength of our country. If we can't live with the issues and challenges if we want to become a Viksit Bharat. And India has such a massive population where one retrofit solution may not work for each and every states or union territory. Like the things which is workable in Jammu Kashmir environment that may not have a workable opportunity in South, Kerala or Tamil Nadu. The thing which is workable in Arunachal Pradesh may not be fit for the Kutch. Kutch is a desert area. The geopolitical situation is entirely different. And the way the solution which is required to be deployed is completely going to have a difference. And that's why the NIPAM has given the opportunity to think it through before designing the application. And while we want to design the application, we need to keep all these aspects in mind. And that's why IP by design is going to be the new leapfrog jump in terms of IP world and innovation ecosystem, where people will demand the customized solution which is addressing to their need. And there are several such solutions which has really been benefited of this creation and protection in its commercial utilization. There are several such examples which is there in the practice. And it is difficult to
So,
highlight a single such example.
right,
Uh,
sir.
yeah.
If you could maybe um, just share some stories of some innovations that may have really come out of some of the regions, tier two, tier three cities, or even the tribal regions, as we were discussing. If you could maybe highlight a couple of stories of certain innovations, and that would be really interesting for our listeners as well.
There is a solution designed by a retired merchant navy officer.
Mhm.
So for any kind of a commercial ships, as soon as the ship is in a transit mode, that is going to generate a revenue. If ship is on the port, and imagine for cleaning purpose where the different veins need to be cleaned because of the microorganism which is creating some debris which is there inside the this veins and the different parts of the ship, commercial ship. So it requires sometimes of 45 to 60 days to clean up them, and maybe twice in a year they have to do so. At least none less than 90 days to 120 days the ship is on the port, and it is a direct loss of opportunity utilizing this kind of commercial ships. If that ship would have been for 90 days to 120 days, thousands of tons of material would have been in transit, and that could have expedited the delivery and the revenue generation out of this. But there is no such solution which was there. So this merchant navy officer has utilized the cutting edge physics, and we all know that there is a cavity which is getting formed in a water, and cavity cannot sustain for a longer duration, so it will burst. So this officer has designed, with the help of some scientists, a strategic valve, and if water is passing through this valve, it will generate a specific size of a cavity, and microorganism will get trapped in this cavity, and the trapped microorganism which is again not sustainable. It will travel upward side, but because of the external water pressure, the cavity will get burst, and this cavity will produce such an energy which is killing this microorganism. So once the water is passing through this valve, it will have more than 99% free from the microorganism. So when the water is passing through this veins, if this kind of a device which is placed, it will have a zero microorganism or maybe a minimal microorganism that is not going to create a damage, because of which these ships are required to be on port for 60 to 120 days. The same principle he has also explored for the hand pumps. See, Indian entire central part has the problem of a groundwater contamination because of the microorganism. So he has developed such a valve which can be fitted on the hand pumps. And while the people are bringing the water outside the hand pump by pumping from the groundwater, so whatever the amount of a groundwater which is there, if once it is passing through this valve, the cavity will burst this microorganism and water will become microorganism free. Now the impact. It is going to offer a pure drinking water which is microorganism free. It is also, since they are not consuming the microorganism contaminated water, the health hygiene is also going to go up. The health hygiene is going to go up. The expectation from the life is also going to be very high. So one small innovation, but how much it is influencing to the society and the country and the entire country's healthcare system. This is a power of a IP design. Design the solution by IP. And this is something which is going to offer, and India needs such a much advanced cutting edge solution which is designed by IP. भारत को विकसित भारत बनना है तो इस प्रकार के आईपी डिजाइन किए हुए सॉल्यूशन को तैयार करना. That's the transformation which we want to foresee in next 2 decades. And in this next 2 decades long journey, the youngsters who are there in the academic institutions or in a college, they are going to take a leadership seat in the commercial world. So their mindset should have a IP driven approach. And to build this micro mindset, we have thought of offering them the training on IP. आज हम सीड दे रहे हैं उनके दिलों में, दिमाग में. जब फर्टाइल लैंड होगा, जब फर्टाइल वेदर होगा या बढ़िया सा मिनरल रिच वाटर मिलेगा, उनका पुरुषार्थ, उनकी सोचने की क्षमता और उनका साहस, ये सारी चीजें खाद, पानी और मिनरल्स है. जब वो मिलेगा तो आईपी विल गेट ब्लॉसम. एंड दैट्स द pioneering work which National IP Awareness Mission is doing as part of the initiative by the Office of CGPDTM, Indian Patent Office.
Amazing, sir. It really, I'm pretty sure that most of our listeners are going to get charged up just listening to this example that you gave us. And of course, the lesson that we can take from this, that there are problems all across or all around us, but we do need solutions, and we do need to train our minds to think about the solutions and how to use IP as a tool in terms of bringing those solutions to more and more people.
Hetvi, since we have a couple of minutes, I would
Yes,
like
sir.
to also mention the things which I am sharing in our internship program also and in our National IP Awareness Mission also. See,
Truly, sir.
each and every
Sure.
student must have one notebook prepared, which is their idea book. So wherever they see that there is some problem, they need to note the problem in that book. And whenever and in whatever the manner which they have observed this problem, maybe once in a week or fortnightly, they should explore what exactly the problem is they have observed and how this problem has occurred. What is the root cause of this problem? So they can again, if they have found the root cause, they can note down the root cause of the problem. Then they need to learn where the knowledge is existing, what kind of a knowledge which is available. If that knowledge is available, they should utilize the knowledge for addressing this challenge. If knowledge is not available, then they need to create the knowledge. Then IP by design. But this entire process will help them addressing the grassroots issues or challenges by observing them, by finding the root cause analysis, by exploring the available solution. If available solution is not there, then they need to create a solution. This approach is not just for the science, technology, or any kind of IP related practices. This is equally help them in addressing the life problems. एक लाइफ प्रॉब्लम को एड्रेस करना है तो वो अप्रोच चाहिए, वो एटीट्यूड चाहिए. आईपी इज नॉट जस्ट फॉर द साइंटिफिक प्रॉब्लम. कहीं पर भी जीवन में कई ऐसी प्रश्न आएंगे, बाधाएं आएंगी, बट they must have the ability to understand, go to the root cause, where the problem is, what is the solution available. If solution is not available, then what are novel approaches which they can explore to address this problem. That approach will also teach them. जो एक भारत को विकसित भारत बनाने के लिए प्रधानमंत्री जी कहते हैं ना कि हम सबको सामूहिक प्रयास करना पड़ेगा, ये प्रयास भी उतना ही महत्वपूर्ण है. अगर विकसित भारत बनाना है तो हर किसी को 2 कदम आगे चलना, तो ये 2 कदम आपके क्या होंगे, वो आपकी आइडिया डायरी में आप लिखिए और उसमें आप ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करिए. तो एक वो सोचने का नजरिया बदल जाएगा उनका. They have to think differently, and that learning process students need to undergo now for building a Viksit Bharat.
Definitely, sir. We will have quite a few young Indians tuning into this podcast, and I'm pretty sure that this is going to be one of the key messages that they take away from this podcast as they prepare to lead India's innovation journey. Before ending, sir, I would like to talk about what we do at the IP Press, and which is not just inviting students from all across India to write for us, but we also do seminars, we also do lectures time and again. And whilst you're talking about these problems and IP-driven solutions that can be found all around us, what do platforms like the IP Press, how can they contribute in supporting the efforts of the IP India office?
Maybe at one point in time, I see that you should also help us in spreading the awareness about the NIPAM, the idea book, the IP by design, the way the India need to design a solution in various sectors. We are equally working through our internal priorities that we are in our IP internship program, we are giving the exposure to the students. Say as in mechanical, what is going to be the domain specific priority in next 10-15 years? And what kind of a solution which is being explored in this domain? So they will think what is going to be the requirement 10 years down the line, and they will start their thought process now. So planning in advance, planning in detail, and designing the IP driven solution is the need for now. And how we can spread this awareness, I think IP Press can also have different podcasts of the inventors. who have developed a cutting edge invention. IP Press can also popularize a unique opportunities which is available in the IP space,
Mm.
and why and how the IP by design is required to be ensured. Even in the IP ecosystem, we need to inculcate the good IP practices, which is in itself is the very lengthy topic. But yes, you need to have this kind of a brainstorming with the seasoned practitioners, judiciary also, and the IP ecosystem, creators, inventors, the GI artisans, the
Mm.
GI specific series you can run. So, how the GI is changing their livelihood, that motivation is sufficient enough, and people
Yes,
will
Sash.
view respect the GI. So
Correct, sir.
the efforts need to be put in from every dimension to strengthen the IP ecosystem of India. And for that, I think your contribution is going to be the valuable enough.
Thank you so much, sir. And I'm pretty sure that our team at the IP Press is all charged up and renewed with these words offered from you to work even more in this space and to work outside of the blogging world as well. Because, of course, there's a lot more problems and IP-driven solutions that we can find on the ground, and towards which I'm pretty sure the IP Press team is all charged up to work. So this brings us to the end of questions, although we do have a lot many questions that have already been requested by some of the participants in advance. But we thought we should not be making this podcast too lengthy for the listeners to really get tired or bored at towards the end of the podcast. So this really is the point where we would like to end this podcast. Thank you so much, Dr. Pandit, for taking out time from your busy schedule and engaging with us. I am pretty sure that the listeners who will tune in to this podcast later in the time will have a lot more information for research and enough food for thought as we are stepping into a brand new year. Any final thoughts, sir?
Thank you very much. I think this is the right time. जो प्रधानमंत्री जी कहते हैं यही समय है, सही समय है. तो आईपी वर्ल्ड के लिए भी यही समय है, सही समय है. हम सब इसका भरपूर उपयोग करें.
For
20
sure.
साल के इस आईपी ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन में when we are going to think that what is my contribution or our contribution, I think we should have the collective stories to tell to the next generation, and that should be the new year resolution. हम आगे भी आईपी कमर्शियलाइजेशन के ऊपर भी हमने काम करना शुरू किया है. अहमदाबाद में 29th को वी आर गोइंग टू हैव वन बिग इवेंट where we are going to show the commercial utilization, how the innovators have been benefited out of this. For those aspiring startups, students, the entire IP fraternity is going to join for that. So maybe you can also join and with your team. It is going to happen in LM City. If you find it difficult to register because it is participation by registration, then do let me know. We'll try to help you with that. Thank you very
Thank
much
you so
once
much,
again.
sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you once again, and goodbye, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
That was Professor Dr. Unnat Pandit with his masterclass on the future of IP in India. It is rare to get such transparent and visionary look into the machinery that drives our country's innovation. Whether you are a law student, a business owner, or a seasoned IP practitioner, I hope this conversation gave you a new perspective on how the intellectual property is the backbone of a developing economy. If you found value in this conversation, please consider subscribing to our channel and sharing this video. Our goal at IP Press is to make IP law accessible to everyone, and your support helps us bring such experts to this platform. Don't forget to check out our website at theippress.com for our blogs, daily updates, and deep dives into the world of IP. Thank you so much for tuning into the IP Press podcast. And until next time, keep innovating, keep protecting, and I'll see you at the next one. See you, take care, and bye bye.
The IP Press Podcast. From the pens of IP Holics.